Amanda Rubinstein, Director of Outreach for Tumblr, claims that social media has created an enormous opportunity for higher levels of engagement. We have seen this type of engagement go on in our daily lives as the world slowly becomes more and more integrated with the internet. The first major breakthrough of its kind, live tweeting, is a posting of a comment on Twitter live during a broadcast of a show with a hashtag or @ symbol. Brian Hodgman, writer for Forbes magazine, states that it helps create and facilitate broad cultures, as well as audiences that care about causes and issues regarding politics, culture, and business. Due in part to what Paolo Gobrato, author of Tweets in the Streets, owes not just to a boundless expression of creativity, but rather involvement in what he views as a collective space, one where leadership groups and digital vanguards are wholly responsible for setting up or beginning a movement's collectiveness, a relatively new area of activism when entirely online, one that requires little to no involvement from its members, or background information for that matter, something called Slacktivism, a branch of digital activism that has the power to pull its participants from all around the world. Simply by presenting a hot-button issue or cause in need of a resolution, and through providing the illusion of little to no effort to join the cause, such as low membership fees or simply liking joining a page, you give the participants the illusion that what they are doing actually makes a difference. And in some cases it does, like with the uprisings in Egypt back in 2012. And after Mitt Romney's binders full of women remark during a debate the same year, lit up Tumblr like the 4th of July, putting another dent in his surprisingly promising career.
And so we took a concerted effort to go out and find women who had backgrounds that could be qualified to become members of our cabinet. I went to a number of women's groups and said, can you help us find folks? And they brought us whole binders full of women.
Clay Shirky mentions in his text, Here Comes Everybody, the power of organizing without organizations, where he mentions group undertakings like these as a ladder of activities enabled and improved by the tools of social media. On this ladder are the different levels or rungs of activity. The first and least difficult of these rungs is sharing. Simple because it places few demands on its participants, allowing for maximum freedom of the particular individual while creating the fewest complications of group life. Next is cooperation. Harder than sharing because it involves changing your behavior to sync with people who are changing their behavior to sync with you. Unlike sharing, cooperation creates group identity. The last rung, collective action, is the most difficult since it needs a specific group of people to commit themselves in undertaking a particular effort together, and in such a way that it makes the decision of the group binding on the individual member. All group structures, Shirky says, create dilemmas, and these dilemmas are hardest when it comes to collective action because the cohesion of the group becomes critical to its success among its participants. And collaborative production relies on shared creation, but collaborative action creates shared responsibility. This has become especially apparent with incidents like the Invisible Children movement and a man named Joseph Kony.
Because the truth is, Kony abducts kids just like Gavin. Kony has been kidnapping children into his rebel group, the LRA. Turning the girls into sex slaves. And the boys into child soldiers. He makes them mutilate people's faces. And he forces them to kill their own parents. And this is not just a few children. It's been over 30,000 of them. He is not fighting for any cause, but only to maintain his power. He is not supported by anyone, and he has repeatedly used peace talks to rearm and murder again and again.
Started by Jason Russell, Kony 2012 was a video uploaded to Vimeo and YouTube on February 2012 detailing the story of a man named Joseph Kony and his Lord's Resistance Army. This group claimed to follow a similar movement, Allah's, Allah's, Allah's Holy Spirit movement, a rebel group claiming to fight for the Christian Holy. However, things got interesting as Alma put distance between herself and Kony, claiming her group did not kill innocents. After a series of defeats at the hand of the Ugandan military left Alma unable to carry on her mission, Kony took over, claiming to carry on her vision. The Lord's Resistance Army, as is known, claims to preach a fusion of Christian and traditional alkali beliefs, but they have been known to attack and enslave their own people. It has also been known for Kony and the LRA to forcibly kidnap young children, turning the girls into sex slaves and boys into child soldiers. It was the intent of this group, more of a vigilant campaign to use viral media to raise awareness about Kony and have him arrested by the end of 2012. Within the first 16 days of publication on Vimeo, Kony 2012 accumulated over 7 million views. Within the first 72 hours on YouTube, 43 million, for a whopping total of 50 million views worldwide between the two mediums. Soon thereafter, major news outlets like NPR, the Huffington and Washington Post, and the Telegraph all commented on how fast the video matched to gather interest in their campaign. The day after the news picked it up, the White House Press Secretary Jay Carney said the president commended the young men for their actions. In his video, Russell claims massive celebrity endorsement, with 20 notable celebrities, including athletes and billionaires, involved in the international efforts, and 12 political figureheads trying to pass legislation banning child soldiers. This became joining the campaign, posting updates related to topics on Kony 2012. On March 7th, the singer Diddy posted a link to the video, creating the hashtag StopKony, which was retweeted over 60,000 times. The artist Soulja Boy released a song in his effort to stop Kony. Like any major success, the same day that Kony 2012 made headlines, people began questioning Russell's motives. A Visible Children Tumblr was launched, featuring a blog criticizing the Visible Children's expenditures with charity dollars. Within the first 2 hours, it accumulated over 2,100 notes. Among its key points, of the 8,676,604, the rest went to pay the volunteer salaries. Photos also began to surface of the members posing with weapons with the Ugandan militia. Non-government organizations have also been criticizing the group for failing to recognize unarmed neutrality while working in dangerous areas. Invisible Children, on March 8th, posted a response. In it, they justified their expenditures by laying out their 3 main goals in a graph as seen here. But all this came to a breaking point as on March 16th, Jason Russell was arrested for publicly masturbating. Who's to say whether this new form of protest is a good thing? Like most forms of activism before it, Slacktivism has done its fair share of damage as well as good to the society. But one thing is for sure, the impact of this digital revolution will be felt for years to come.